Hello everyone, I'm Woman International Master Knarik and I'm using the chesswithknarik.com website to record this video. In this video, we're going to see some positions where in real games, some players they miscalculated and lost opportunities or lost a piece or lost a winning game or resigned in a winning or an equal position. So in this position, we're looking at it was white's turn and white played the knight to d2. And some of these games are played by famous players. For example, this one is played by Alekhine, and he played knight to d2. And later he said that he completely forgot about the piece that's on the chessboard that he can lose right now. And what is the piece that we can lose here? So you can pause the video and try to find what's the piece that we can win here with black. And so here it's going to be the bishop that's on b5. And how can we try to get that bishop? It looks like this bishop has limited moves, but how can we trap it and win it? Because, for example, if I just play the pawn to a6, okay, the bishop is going to have moves to do and is going to escape. Of course, it's not doing so well right now, or black can still try to trap it, but of course, white can just make sure that this bishop is safe for now. Okay, so going back, pawn to a6 directly is not going to work. Instead, black should attack the bishop in a different way, in a way that the bishop won't be able to move to the a4 square. And black can do that by playing the queen to a5 for sure. Now, the bishop doesn't have the going back to a4, and the only way to defend this bishop is going to be by pushing the pawn to a4. And now we can simply play pawn to a6, attack the bishop. The bishop is trapped and we're surely going to win it next. Now, of course, white can try to be tricky because this position is with the king and not castled and exposed like this. White can try to be a bit tricky. For example, here a move like b4 can be tried, but of course black can be careful. Black doesn't have to capture and pin, going to a pin, right? So going back, black can simply just move away with the queen, and on the next move this bishop is still trapped. The white bishop can still be captured on the next move when the queen simply moves away. Now, okay, let's see the next position. In the next position here, what happened is this: black tried to promote the pawn that's on b3 and push this pawn. Now, when black pushed this pawn, surely now the threats are many. One of the threats is just push the pawn again, get the rook for the pawn. Another threat is just play rook to c1 for black. So definitely white needs to capture the bishop on a2 to stop the pawn from promoting. And here black played again rook to c1. And it looks here that this is a very good move and black is winning. And actually, both players on the chessboard thought that black is winning and white resigned in this position. But so we learned from this that we shouldn't resign too soon, and we should always try to find opportunities in every position. And here, there was a way to defend this position, and white could continue. Again, you can try to find how could white continue here instead of resigning. And so, okay, definitely, for example, moves like a bishop to b1 are not going to work because black can capture the rook with a check and then capture the bishop as well, and then it's a catastrophe. So we should find a way to defend this rook. We should find a way to make this rook protected. And how can we do that? Of course, the king is too far, can't go and help the rook. The bishop can't help the rook as well because then the bishop will be leaving the promotion square. So here, the only way that we can protect the rook then is going to be rook to f1. And with rook to f1, there are no threats here, that no danger on white. For example, okay, if black simply trades rook, fine, the pawn won't promote. If black promotes the pawn, fine, we can simply capture it with our bishop. And again, there's no threats here. And going back, so after these moves, here all white had to do was play rook to f1. And how to continue after this? Now surely, of course, in the next move we can surely try to place our bishop on the b1 square to make sure that this pawn is not pushing, and also try to push the pawn to f3 to get the king to participate, then with the rook to try to get rid of this rook that's on c1. And it's going to be good actually for white this position, and white didn't have to resign at all. Let's go to the next position. In this next position, the last move played was the knight to e7. And it looks like white is completely winning here because that knight is attacking the queen. And there are three pieces attacking the h7 knight. And when white captures, there is just checkmate. And it looks like there's nothing that black can do to defend everything. But white has miscalculated something. And here it's black who is winning in this position. And it is just that black was given a chance to attack, to create a counterattack here with this move, knight to e7. And there we go. Black can here simply sacrifice the rook that's on g2, sacrifice it on f2, and only move for white is to capture. And now the rook on b4 is going to attack, and also the queen is going to participate in the attack. And no matter what white plays together with our queen, that king is going to be checkmated. Let's say if we go back, even if the king moves to let's look at king to f1, it's again going to be check, and then checkmate also from the back rank. So here, if we go back, maybe the only thing with that white can try here is that when we do our check, maybe white can try to give up the queen for a second rook. Since white captured the rook, white can give up the queen for a second rook and still keep some chances, because white is attacking the queen, still is attacking the h7 square. But it's not that simple, because if, let's say, black captures that queen, and now uh, it is very easy for black in such a position with a queen to capture one of white's pieces, because if we look at the white pieces, they're all hanging, they're not defended by any other white pieces. So it's very easy, especially when we have checks with our queen, to catch one of these pieces. For example, a simple check on g2. Of course, the king is not going to move to the d3 square, because then there's going to be a skewer with the queen, and we can simply win the bishop. That's the least that we can win. If going back also, king to e1 is not going to work, because then we have checkmate in two moves for black. And let's try to use all our pieces. That's going to be the bishop that's on c7, can just check. And then when the king moves away, that's the only move, we can just checkmate with the bishop and queen. So going back, so here in this position, when we check, the only move is going to be for white to move to the d1 square. And here, simply with two more checks, we can just catch that rook that's on the h4 square, because we can just simply chase the king to the second rank. And wherever the king moves to, doesn't matter really. On the second rank, we're just moving to the f2 square. That's attacking the king and the rook at the same time. And when the king moves away, we're going to win the rook in this position. Okay, let's see the next position. So in this next position, white is winning again, and already has a queen for a rook and a knight. And there is a second pawn that's going to be promoted here. White's going to have two queens. But here, what happened is that white played too fast and promoted to get the second queen right away. But I didn't pay attention that by giving the turn to black, black is going to win here, because this white king's position is not so safe. It's on the edge of the chessboard, doesn't have many moves to do, just one move to the h5 square. And that was the decisive factor here. And the black could simply checkmate in this position by pushing the pawn to g5. That's a check, right? It's forced for white to move the king to h5. And here, we just want to checkmate with the rook. So let's clear the way for the rook to move to the h3 square. And how can we do that? By playing the knight to f4. And that's a check. And it's forced for white to capture. White doesn't have any other moves on the board. And then black can simply checkmate in this position. So going back, in this position, all white had to just be a bit patient. The only way black could win was to do this checkmate. And anything else was going to be fine for white if white doesn't allow the checkmate. For example, just a simple move like pawn to g5 was going to stop the checkmate, and it's just going to be simple win for white in this position. So let's see the next position. In this next position, black has a big advantage because black is attacking the white king that's exposed, right? The g file is open, and black is attacking with the queen, with the bishop. The rook can participate anytime. Black has an extra pass pawn that's advanced. uh, so here black is much better in this position, but black did a miscalculation. Black played a move that looks like obviously winning, because we place a rook on the seventh rank, seventh for black, and which is second on the board, and it looks like a very good move. Now the rook is attacking the queen. At the same time, now our black queen can capture the f2 square and then checkmate. So this looks like very good for black. But black miscalculated something by moving the rook to d2. What can white play here? White can take advantage of the back rank weakness, and together with the three pieces that are attacking on the chessboard, white can win this game. And let's see. Of course, the first move is going to be a check. But then how to continue here so that white checkmates in just a couple of moves. Now, sometimes some of my students try queen to h6. It looks tempting because if black captures with a pawn, a white does checkmate. But of course, when we check with a queen, black doesn't have to capture with a pawn. Black does what is good for black. And what's best for black is to capture with a king and escape from checkmate. After check, black is simply escaping. There is maybe one more check with a pawn, but it doesn't really do much. And here we can just escape with a king, and black is going to be fine. Okay, so if we go back, okay, what should have white played instead? White should have sacrificed the rook first, and but that's a decoy sacrifice. It moves the king to a square. Now the g7 pawn is pinned, and we can use that pin with white to checkmate, and that's a check. The pinned pawn can't capture the queen. King is going to move away, and that's simply checkmate for white. Now, let's see, one more position. In this one more position, we have the black pieces again that have a big advantage here. And almost any move again is winning for black, but black decided to play maybe the only move that's not so good here. And black decided to play the pawn to d2, and here allowing white to checkmate, because with this pawn to d2, black is opening the diagonal of the white light square bishop, and so here white can simply sacrifice the queen and then just checkmate on the next move. So here in this position, black had to be a bit careful. Almost anything wins here, and one very nice win in this position is capturing with a queen. And when the white queen captures, a very, very good move here is going to be bishop to d5. Of course, when there is a pin, that's the first move that we should think about. When there is a pin, let's put pressure on the pinned piece, and this bishop to d5 is doing that. And if the queen captures our rook, then nothing is stopping our pawn from promoting. Otherwise, our rook is going to get the queen, and we're going to have an extra rook in this game, and black is simply winning in this position. So what we learned from this lesson is that we always have to be careful. Even in winning position, we don't underestimate, let's say, or we don't think that, okay, the game is finished and I can rest. We don't rest until the game is over, until we get the full point and we win the game. So until then, we have to stay focused all the way to find the best moves. And in case our opponent has, let's say, one or two lines that is winning for them, we shouldn't allow our opponent um, to win simply by doing a mistake and allowing them to do the 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 winning moves for them in not such a good position.